He was my very first guest 999 shows ago, and now he's my last. Welcome back, my metal brother, David Reece.
Nice to be back 1,000 shows later. 999.
999, yeah. You was my very first guest on the 4th of January 2021, right in the Corona madness, and you are the first and you are the last one. This is the last interview for the Metalheads Forever Rockcast show, and I can say to all David-Reece fans, this will be your night, because I have a big program. We looking back, even videos I didn't play yet, so we have something new, and yeah, David, what a run. 5 years, 999 shows, and you was in my show many times, and so I follow your career. We had something special later on. I have some surprise. You don't know that I have something here, a little attack on you, David. For all people who don't know you or maybe know you, of course everybody knows you with ACCEPT, definitely. But what was David Reece before ACCEPT? What was the humble beginning?
David Reece was a Midwestern club rock singer who started. His first band was called Hat Trick, which is some type of ice hockey term. And I think we changed the name, but I don't remember what it was because it was stupid. And the first gig, well, back up. I lived in an apartment when I was 15 with a bunch of people. I left home very young. And one of the guys there was a guitar player. And I would work 2 shifts in the factory and come home late at night, and he'd be laying on the couch with a guitar and all these girls. And I used to hate his guts because he didn't do anything but playing clubs. I was jealous. And one day I was in the shower listening the old AM radios you could put on the soap dish and turn on while you showered. Yeah, battery operated AM radio. And I was singing a Led Zeppelin song. And he opens the curtain and he said, "Man, you can sing. Want to join my band?" I'm like, "Sure." So our first show was on a farm, and we knew 4 songs, and we played them over and over and over again, longer and longer, because everybody was drunk. Those days you could buy, for $5, you got all the beer you could drink, and we would play on farm fields in the back of a truck. And that's how it started. And then I moved slowly up to a band called Dare Force that were like the biggest band in Minneapolis. Yeah, the biggest following. They used to come sneak and watch me play in a band called Meteor or Obsession. I can't remember which one, but one day I got a phone call, and their original singer they had was a guy named Zeno, who was the original singer of Cheap Trick.
Okay.
And they were having problems with him, and one day they called me and said, "Come down to the band house." So I walked about 2 miles to this house in South Minneapolis. We rehearsed in the kitchen while Zeno was out shopping or something. Typical rock and roll scandal, right? And they said, "You're in the band. We just don't know when." So this goes on for a few weeks. And it was a Sunday. The phone rang, and it was a guitar player saying, "You got to play with us tonight. Zeno's out." I don't know the songs. Well, just do what you know, and we'll play the rest. So we played a Sunday night in a club called Duffy's, and they would sell out every club they played. Back in those days, you played Monday through Sunday, and every venue was hopping. I mean, it was madness. You could play a show and walk down the street.
Which year you be talking now?
Probably 1980.
Okay.
I mean, I started in like 77. In the first band I mentioned, 77, 78, something like that. Yeah.
Was there a role model as a singer, like you admired? You say, "Oh, I love his voice," like Robert Plant, you mentioned before, Led Zeppelin, because your voice is unique, this screaming voice, and especially yesterday I listened to Generation Clash. And I thought, man, he has real pipes. That's why I understand why ACCEPT took, because they needed something different. But was there a role model like an idol for you?
Well, originally it was country music. As a boy, those singers would have been George Jones, Conway Twitty, Charlie Pride, because I grew up in the South. And but rock singers, my first two vinyl that I bought the same day was Deep Purple, Machine Head, and Alice Cooper's School's Out.
Okay.
And Ian Gillan sounded like some native wild man screaming guy that, I would imagine him in my mind like this guy in a loincloth swinging from trees. I mean, he had this amazing voice, Space Truckin'.
Child in Time. Don't forget this. Child in Time was amazing, in his time.
I grew with Deep Purple, but I would say Ian Gillan was the first guy. And then I fell in love with, of course, Led Zeppelin and Bad Company. Paul Rodgers to this day I would probably say is my go-to guy. He the greatest rock voice.
For all people don't know the real story, how you became the singer. And I said this right in the beginning, and I confessed this, and I this was so cool when I mentioned this 5 years ago, that I didn't like you. I hated it because I loved Udo, in ACCEPT, Metal Heart and Balls to the Wall and all the stuff. And suddenly there is a scream. And I was laughing yesterday. I don't know, you ever saw this comment? One comment under Generation Clash, which has 1 million views already. So he is the perfect blend between David Lee Roth and Klaus Kinski. Klaus Kinski is a German crazy actor, a legendary actor.
Yeah.
He plays always the bad guy, the crazy guy. He was actually a crazy guy. And I look at the face and go, he's right. This is an absolute perfect combination. Klaus Kinski and David Lee Roth. So give us a short story. You became, and it's like the rock star. You got a telephone call, and this was who?
Well, it was more difficult than that. I was in LA after Dare Force, and I couldn't get arrested there. Everybody's a singer. Everybody's in a band. Everybody's an actor.
It was a heyday in Los Angeles Strip, right? This was the
you're talking like 82. Yeah, and I mean, all of us. I mean, I was homeless, nowhere to live. We would eat like every 2-3 days and run around Sunset Boulevard trying to be noticed and audition with everybody. And I had met Mitch Perry, who would play guitar in Talus with Billy Sheehan. Of course, Mitch played with Schenker later on and did a bunch of stuff with Aerosmith. And
this was the beginning in Los Angeles. So it's not the ACCEPT days. This was the humble beginning.
This is before ACCEPT. Yeah. We did a 5-song demo and shopped it to everybody, and we're told no. And I was living at a woman's house named Lucy Forbes. She lived down in Santa Monica on the beach, and she had a little agency called Rock Congress. And her vision was a placement agency for musicians. I'll be the go-to guy or girl that places guys in big bands. I was sleeping on her floor. I had my bag of clothes, that was my pillow, and I had a blanket on a hardwood floor next to a fake fireplace. And in the beach, it's cold at night in California. People don't realize that. It's not like Jamaica or something, And after about 6 months of this, I literally just said, I'm leaving. And my parents had left Minnesota and moved to Colorado. So I jumped on a Greyhound bus, left everything I didn't want to keep at her house. And I went to my mother and father's house in Colorado Springs and got back into my normal life, which was house painting. And a few months later, I had rented a home up in the mountains, and the phone rang one night, and I think it was February of 88, and it was Wolf Hoffman. I mean, Wolf Hoffman's calling me in Colorado. This is bizarre. I think I hung up on it because I thought it was a fake phone call.
Rockstar like.
Memory. So, yeah, like I'm Mickey Mouse and you're Wolf Hoffman. Goodbye. And
Yeah.
I think he called back saying, I think we have a bad connection, but my name is Wolf Hoffman. I'm from ACCEPT. I have your 5-song cassette. I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, Dieter Dirks was involved with Lucy, apparently, and had gone to Los Angeles to do Scorpions business because they were coming to the end of their relationship together, the Scorpions. And he said to Lucy, I'm in a real snag here. We have a singer for ACCEPT, a replacement guy named Robert, but it's not working. Do you know anybody? And she goes, what about this guy? And I handed him my cassette. And he listened to it in the house, the story I was told, and said, that's the guy. Where is he? She goes, I don't know. He left a couple months ago. He's in Colorado. So somehow they found my mother's phone number, and then they got my phone number and called me. And if anybody knows about Colorado in February, the snow is up to your chest. It's like Switzerland, it's brutal winters. And he said, would you be interested in an audition? I'm like, yeah, bears, they shit in the woods, right? So, of course. So I hustled and learned a bunch of ACCEPT songs. Now, I had done Restless, and I had done some of those songs in clubs when I was younger. So I kind of was familiar with the band, but I honestly wasn't a fan. Somebody who ACCEPT crazy, and he was telling me, we're changing directions, we're changing singers, we need to commercialize the band and break America and all this, and we really would like to give you a shot. So next thing you know, I'm flying to Dusseldorf. And I met the band.
And Dieter Dirks said something special to you. He warned
in the studio?
Right? He said to you, if this goes down, I go down too. So
yeah,
everything...
I mean, that was after. I mean, ACCEPT is a weird animal. I don't know if it's the mentality of the area or what, but I was never officially in the band until I played a live gig in Cologne at a place called the Empire. I knew that was do or die. I had been there for probably 3 months or so, and nobody would say yes or no. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I was so green. My fanboy mentality was, oh, cool, I get to meet the Scorpions, because I knew they were doing Savage Amusement at Dirks. So the night I got there, I'd never had jet lag before, and I couldn't sleep. I was so excited I couldn't sleep, all this stuff. So I went for a walk. I didn't know what Strasse meant, or this place, and I got lost in Poolheim. I was running around in a panic at like 5 a.m. I couldn't find the guest house. So I finally see this house. It's familiar. I put the key in the door and unlock it, and it's the house. I go down to my room. I fall asleep, and it's like 2 hours later, I hear beating on the door, and I open it. It's Peter Balthus with a bass on his back and a soft case going, let's go. And I'm like, where are we going? He goes, we're going to the studio. I'm like, cool. I get to meet the Scorpions. Because I'd seen the Scorpions in the States like in 77 on the album The Zoo and Pictured Life and all those songs. I knew we used to do In Trance and all those songs in the clubs, and I was a huge Scorpions fan and a Schenker Michael fan. So I'm thinking in my stupid, immature mind, I'm going to meet the Scorpions. I'm not even thinking that I'm auditioning for ACCEPT. That's how green I was. I walk in the door. There's Dieter, who I'd seen in magazines. I recognize him, and Rudolf Schenker standing there. I think they were having kind of an argument. And I introduced myself, and they looked at me like, so don't interrupt us. We're busy. So Peter drugged me downstairs to a demo room and put a microphone in front of my face, put on a 2-inch tape. And the first song, I think, was Turn the Wheel. And he had the title, and he said, literally, sing something. I mean, what? let's do something. And I'm like, okay. So we sat there all day writing lyrics and yeah. But to answer your question about Dieter, when I was officially in the band after that live show, I remember recording it took a long time with him. Everything was very particular. I mean, and I was pretty inexperienced as a singer. And one time he said to me before what I'm going to tell you, he said, you have a great singing voice. The problem is you don't know who you are. And it's my job to figure that out. And of course, 27-year-old kid, you think, what do you mean? Well, what he meant was, I've been doing cover songs for so long, you have to emulate Priest, you have to do UFO, you have to do Aerosmith. So you really don't, you want to sound as close to those bands as you can so you get paid in America for those club shows. Yeah, you got to play those songs as close to the radio as possible. So I didn't really have a voice identity, and he really helped me with that. So I'm very grateful for that. But what you're talking about is we were getting close to finishing the vocals, and he stopped recording and he looked at me all serious and he said, you realize if this album fails, it's your fault and my fault. The press will blame us and the fans. And I'm like, come on, man. They're not going to blame me and you. This is going to be super. He was absolutely right.
But
as crazy as he is,
I remember you told me that after this first studio session, you thought you fly home, and then I said, "Hey."
Oh, the first gig, yeah. I mean that I was told by Gabby, this is it. And I remember being in a restaurant across the street from the venue, and there was like 1,000 kids lined up out front, and it said Germany's biggest metal band. They didn't say ACCEPT. Everybody knew that it was me. It was like the new singer in Germany. So I was terrified. And I basically said, well, I'm going to go home tomorrow. This isn't going to happen. Went in and did the gig. Place went crazy. I went back to the guest house and she said, now go party with your little girlfriends and your groupies and we will see you tomorrow. And she left. Like, well, party all night, get on a plane, go back to America the next day. I woke up. I could hear all the people talking upstairs. It was the band. I walked upstairs and Gabby looked at me, cup of coffee in her hand, said, welcome to ACCEPT. You're the singer.
Wow.
That's just crazy. I mean,
David, we have such a big program for and what comes now. This is different. This show, the last one is different. Normally I play always a song before. This time we start right with the interview, and now I bring now the newest baby of David Reece, which is an old baby came back. You know, a grown baby with Bangalore Choir, and his fantastic track, Bullet Train. And we listen first. Then you give me a little story, which we have another friend, a good friend of the show, Andy Susimil. But here's Bullet Train. Action.
Lost in thought, but not in name. Blinded
Bullet Train. What a killer. Love it. And I
Thank
love
you
the
very
whole
much.
album. Great
Thank
job
you.
of Andy. Great, great, great. Give me
Andy's,
a short story about Bullet Train and, of course, Rapid Fire Succession on Target Part 2.
well, after ACCEPT fired me, now I go back to Hollywood and everybody knows me. So it's
Okay.
a whole different Dave and a different game. I walk into every club and they go, that's the guy from ACCEPT. I mean, but whereas before, nobody could care if I lived or died. So I formed Bangalore Choir in 1989, 90, somewhere in there. And I literally had an offer from every record company after 9 shows in the West Coast. Now, 9 shows in California is about 9 months. You don't play every weekend or every night. It's 1 show a month. But we were showcasing the Whiskey, the Roxy, the Troubadour, and the buzz happened very fast. So I got signed to giant Warner Brothers after a Michael Schenker show, I might add. I saw the A&R guy, Kevin Moran, at the show. Herman Rarebell had invited me to come see the Scorpions because we had become friends before.
Mhm.
I invited my band to go see the Scorpions with the Scorpions to see Michael play with Macaulay. And as I'm walking in, I see Kevin Moran, and he said, hey, man, the buzz is heavy on Bangalore Choir. It looks like you're going to cut a deal. I said, yeah, if you don't get in line, you're going to miss out. He said, be in my office in the morning. Next morning, we go in, we sign the big deal. It happened that fast. So, Bullet Train, the concept of On Target, I mean, all the timing for On Target was wrong. We had Howard Kaufman managing us, who had the Eagles, who had Whitesnake, he had everybody, right? We had the big label, we had all of it. Then grunge happens. I think Nirvana and Bangalore Choir On Target came out the same week. And we went from super status and in a matter of 12 weeks being dropped by the record company. That's how fast it ended. But I didn't know that the UK and the European Union and Asia loved On Target because I was told my career was over, get a real job, go home and die. And I believed it. But grunge didn't really affect the EU or UK for like a year later or 2 years later. Didn't really happen here. On Target was highly successful, as you can see behind me and other things that are going on. But I went out as a solo artist for a few years. And what I realized, I think we kind of, before we did the interview, we talked about this. When you go out as a solo artist, there's a certain plateau you reach, unless you're like Youngblood or something like that. And I'm not a spring chicken. I'm an older guy. And branding is what it's all about. Now, I have tried to do some Bangalore Choir records in the last 10 years that never really had the magic On Target had. So I was in France last year playing some solo shows, and I was reaching a level of, good attendance, but never any more every time I went back in European shows. I would always kind of stay flatlined at that amount of people. And I was paying attention to Foreigner, Mike Tramp's White Lion, and I realized I got to get the brand back. The David Reece name is not working on its own. That's the truth. I know when I'm not defeated, but I know when I've hit my peak. So I come home. I call Andy Susamil, who I call my weapon of mass production. Probably, if not one of the finest guitarists and writers that I've ever known.
He's fantastic.
And I said, Andy, here's what's on my mind. I want to put Bangalore Choir back together, but it has to be On Target Part 2. Okay, he says, like what? I said, I want you to study On Target. Because Andy did a bunch of Bangalore Choir records with me, and he did BC shows with me before. And he understands it. When I say something to him, he gets it. Very musically inclined individual. So the first 4 or 5 writings that we did for this album just wasn't doing it. And I said, Andy, we're not getting there, man. We're not there. We're not there. We need Slipping Away. We need All or Nothing. We need Freight Train Rolling. We're not there. He's like, okay. He threw either Bullet Train or Driver's Seat were the first two that really knocked me out. I think it was Driver's Seat, if memory serves right. But Bullet Train, you asked about that. That was probably the second one that we wrote together, that I knew that we were getting it. It was coming back. It's hard to go back to 1992, Richie. I mean, I don't even know what I've had for breakfast yesterday. I mean, try to put your mind, that many years back and what was going on in your head. Musically, personally, vocally, everything. Visually. Well, we hit it. And when Bullet Train came out, Andy also did the video, by the way. It hit number one in the United States for 6 consecutive weeks on radio. It's still in full rotation around the United States and the world.
It's a fantastic track.
No doubt. I mean, it exploded, and a lot of that I attribute to the great marketing behind the band and the album with Brave Words. They know how to work an album, and some options I had from other labels were up, and I sat down and really thought, because in this business, what happens with albums is it's here today, gone later today. There's no memory of what people hear. There's a short attention span. And typically what media has done with the record is the huge campaign 4, 5, 6 weeks before the release. And the day of the release, everybody gets it pre-order and all that. And the day after, it's zero noise.
Yeah. So, you know what we do now, David? Because we have so many tracks, and I really want to bring them on, and we give to every track a little anecdote, not a full story, because we have too many. We have 14 videos today. This will be a crazy run, because you have a history of so many great projects, and some of them I played already, and some videos I never played actually. And this is the one I don't remember I played this one, but it's on an album which I was involved, which was an honor for me, Baptist by Fire, the album, and we have something special after this video. Here's We've Lost the Fight. Yeah. Listen first, and here we go.
Sleeping with both eyes open, your empty complain, 'cause you're the last in line. I've learned my lesson from the penalty, wired by living a lie. We've lost the fight. 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 We lost the fight.
This was We've Lost the Fight. So give me a short story about the song, how the song came together, and this with your Italian band, of course.
Yes. It's my rhythm section, Riccardo Di Marossi on bass, and Nelo Savinelli on drums, and Nicolo Savinelli, his brother, on guitar. You were very involved with the artwork on that and pushing that record. That record was #1 in Germany for a long time.
And
Really
you know what?
did well, actually.
Now I show something. I was blown away because this was the first album cover production and booklet. I was involved in the whole project from A to C, you know, and this was the first international act, actually, you know. And then I watched. I was actually in front of the TV and watching the Metal Voice with Jimmy K. And then suddenly, out of the blue, this happens.
Yeah, let's talk about this album cover too. Who did this? This is a fantastic album cover.
Thank you. Richie Newton from Metalheads Forever wanted to do a shot at artwork. Excuse me, I had a cold and I'm fighting it off because I'm leaving in a few days to do some American days. And I said, I know the Chief is kind of like my brand, you know, the Chief Skull guy.
Yeah.
I said, if we do it, we've got to improve it like they do with Eddie.
Yeah.
And him and some artists in Southeast Asia got together and created this maniac, man of war's kind of metal, you know, Schwarzenegger guy with the Chief head. I'm real thrilled with it. It's Newton artwork. I mean,
I like
if
it.
I said this, the album's got to be brutal. The t-shirt looks fabulous. Everybody loves the artwork. Hats off to Newton Artworks. I got to give him a plug.
Yeah, this was a surprise. I'm honest to you. This was a surprise because I didn't expect it. And after this, I saw so many comments regarding the album artwork, and they're mentioning always, is this the guy who did the Judas Priest Juggulator album? You know,
Yeah.
And I say, holy cow! You know, it's somehow, you know, I was so nervous actually, you know, but then we got a lot of good comments, and makes me very happy, to be honest, you know. And this was for me a big surprise because I love this show. Metal Voice is Jimmy K is great, you know, and he's in the league, you know, and this was an honor, my friend.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I always give credit to who's ever been involved with my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do everything. I mean, I'm not an artist. You did it.
And
we talked about it.
Yeah. We stay with the album, one more track, and later on we have another one. And you asked me, maybe you remember, Richie, what do you think could be the next single? I'm not sure what songs you really like. So, and I listened to all the tracks. I said, you know, they're actually the next one is Tomorrow Don't Matter Today, and I was glad to you picked actually my pick, you know, and because a strong video, a strong song, and of course the video. And here's Tomorrow Don't Matter Today.
This is another one off Baptized by Fire. It's called Tomorrow Don't Matter Today.
the moment. Aim high for the sun. If I crash while in the process, at least I had some fun. Not much more I can add, and more words I have even said. Breathe in the here and now, forever not promised today. Dreams, listen what they say. Tomorrow don't matter today. No time to be modest, it's time I undress. Not about the size or who you might impress. Kill off all the jackals, I don't need a gun. The meaning of my progress when it's all said and done. Not much more I can add, and more words I have even said. Breathe in the here and now, forever not promised today. Dreams, listen what they say. Tomorrow don't matter today. Not much more I Breathe in the here and now, forever not promised today. Dreams, listen what they say. Tomorrow don't matter today. Tomorrow don't matter today. Tomorrow don't matter today.
Tomorrow don't matter
We filmed,
today.
we filmed a lot of that on the US dates. Niccolo is a genius with capturing. That's what he does for a living too, the guitar player. He does a lot of video work for a French company, and we filmed everything from rehearsal to driving to, on stage. I mean, some of those dates, to be honest, like any honest musician watching right now, you'll notice they're filming from the stage. There's a reason for that, because there's not many people there. Some gigs are really good, some are not. But he captured that, and that was a favorite of his as well. Let's use Tomorrow Don't Matter Today. That's a great song. It's okay. So we cut it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a one of the very strong songs of the album.
I actually have a whole solo album in the can recorded with those guys right now.
So this will be actually the next question. Will be there another David Reece album?
I don't know. It's recorded. It's not mixed. There's like 15 tracks that I wrote with the same guys, Niccolo, Nelo, and Ricardo. When I got home from America with Niccolo, we went right in the studio because we had a bunch of ideas, because we had days off. We started writing, and then we went in and tracked it. And then I kind of got this Bangalore Choir thing going in my head, because I was with those guys in France when this vision came to me. Like, how far is this going? Yeah, how far can I take this? But yeah, I've thought about it, but my focus is solely on Bangalore Choir, Rapid Fire Succession.
Which it proved you. I followed you, of course. We always complicated. You sent me not complicated, complimented. You give me the likes, I give you the likes, So we follow each other our road, you know. And
I got
of
to
course,
tip my hat to you, Rich. I mean, 1,000 shows. Come on, that's a great milestone.
It's a beginning now, because I start Metalheads World next year. So in 2026 will be a next chapter. But coming back to you, you was on tour with Alcatraz and Girls School, and I saw some footage. Great, you kicked ass. Yeah,
that was great. I mean, I just got home. Today is Tuesday. I got home last Thursday. We did 13 dates, I think, and we had one day off. It was rough for all the singers, and of course,
just to let people know, today is December 16th. You know, it's not 30.
It started the first show was November 25th in Belgium, and it ended, I think, the 7th or 8th of December. And I can't say enough about how great Alcatraz and Girl School were. It was funny because my band is a hard rock melodic band, Bangalore Choir. Then I would say Alcatraz with Giles singing is more neoclassical, with a guy like Joe Stump on guitar and Jimmy Wald on keyboards. Very heavy musical. And then you got Girl School, or almost punk, old English hard rock. You know, so we had this really mixed, eclectic audience, you know, fans of mine, fans of Alcatraz, fans of Girl School, but somehow the music is a universal language. Everybody was there for everybody. And the bands were fabulous. I didn't know Girl School. I know who they are, but I was a little nervous to go tour with them. I didn't know what kind of people they were. I knew Alcatraz, but I can't say enough about how warm and accepting they were to me and everyone else. They were great, man. And they are better than most boy bands that I've toured with. Those girls rock.
Cool. You know what I liked? I liked your daily tour vlogs, you know, like hey, here we are with my knuckleheads in Belgium. We are here, and follow you. This is perfect, you know. Keep the people involved in your tour, and this I really like what Marco Mendoza, our dear friend, our partner in crime, because he's also sober for over 30 years. You also hope still me, you know, of course, 28 years, and he does every day. Hey, here's Marco Mendoza. I'm in France. I'm in England. I'm in Scotland. I'm in Belgium. In Holland. You know, it's a road warrior. Holy cow! Small clubs, big clubs, big shows. Great.
Yeah, and now you got to document.
Yeah, it's cool. This is the new style. This is keep the people involved in your life. Perfect.
I mean, if you can watch some kid dancing around on TikTok being a goofball, why not document your daily history of a tour?
Absolutely.
I mean,
of course, I will involve TikTok and Instagram and Spotify and all the stuff in the Metalheads World show too, with small clips, of course. But because some people watching, you know, and about short one. So, my friend, we still have a lot to go, and the next one is Metal Voice, featuring, of course, Andy Susimil. Here's Metal Voice.
Only we know 'cause it comes from within.
metal voice. Great track. Still I love this track. Cool.
That album was Cacophony of Souls, and Andy and I have to say, at every show I do, people walk up to me with that record and say, "This is my favorite of you and Andy." I see it every show, and
Cool.
even when I did the acoustic gig last week with Andy, there were people standing around holding that CD, going, "Are you going to play this song?" Or we played "Another Life, Another Time," the ballad, of course, acoustic, but that album made an impact. And Chasing the Shadows was on it. We had recorded that, 2006, and the record company at the time didn't like the song, and Andy was furious. He was like, "What's wrong with them? That's the best song on the record." So they dumped it, and then Andy brought it back and said, "Let's do this song again." And I said, "You're right." So yeah, that was Cacophony of Soul, big selling record for us.
Yeah. And another one. Now we are on the right track now. We stayed. The next one is Judgment Day. It's also a fantastic track. And here's Judgment Day. Judgment Day. Yeah, that's strong songs. And
That's
good
very
videos.
Dio-ish. That one had kind of a
Yes.
Dio Holy Diver vibe. And I can't remember. Valerio Fia was the video director, I think, for that. Yeah, that was another great track. And I got to, again, I can't take all the credit for that. I mean, Andy and I, there's something that happens when you have a chemistry. You're a singer. When you find the right people, don't mess with the recipe, because
Yes,
that's why I called them to do this.
Never change
Choir
a winning team, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, Andy, I can't say enough about him. And I watched him the other night. We played acoustic, and I walked off stage. He did 3 or 4 of his solo songs. He was really in fine voice that night and playing great. And I just watched him. I said, man, what a gifted man.
I always say he could be the perfect police tribute, because he has the Sting voice. Absolutely, it's
what I thought. I totally agree with that, and you and I have talked about that, and I've told him that he could do the police kind of thing. But another thing that hit me one night. Well, I was there after the tour with Girls School and for a night, and we kind of fiddled around and rehearsed this acoustic thing. But I watched Joe Bonamassa live with a horn section and background singers. I said, Andy, you could do that. And he just looked at me. I said, really? He goes, really? I go, Andy, you're perfect for that. You can play like that. If you had an ensemble like that, it would be huge. And he just looked at me and said, I said, you could really pull that off. Pardon me, my dog is jealous because you and I are talking. Please.
No problem.
Excuse me, Rebel.
Hound dog.
He doesn't like it when he's not on my feet and laying next to me. If I'm talking to someone, he freaks out.
You just mentioned it before, the song, that this is one of the highlights, actually, I must say, because this is for me a real masterpiece of Andy. And this is and the backstory. I remember 5 years ago, when the very first time I saw this video, you know what is coming now: Another Life, Another Time. And I thought it's a tribute song to your brother who passed away, something like this. And then in the interview, I expecting to hear now the story, the sad story about my brother. I miss him, and so I said, no, he's alive. He gave me all the pictures. I said, really? Yeah, this was such a great moment, because I was sure this is definitely a tribute song to the fallen brother. And you said, no, he's alive and kicking. I hope he's still alive.
Yeah. I mean, you're not the first person that thought that. You were the first to tell me that, but I've heard it since, and I'm really sorry about your brother. And I'm like, what happened to Bob? I thought he was dead. No, he's doing fine. He's got a lot of combat injuries from the military. He's recently moved to Oklahoma. Him and his wife. He's feeling physically much better. He's more mobile now. He's moving around. He's fishing every day and just living his life. He's a happy man, and I love him to death. I saw him last year when I went to America. I went down to Texas and saw my mother and my brother and my sister, and they're all healthy and fine, thank God.
And that's why we play now for Bob.
I was worried about
I'm so happy because this was such a surprise for me, because in a live show, this was not a pre-recorded like now. This was a live show, the very first show actually with a guest,
Yeah.
And I was sure you tell me he passed away. And I saw the picture and it makes me so sad. And suddenly it switched from sad to happiness, And this is a wonderful song, one of the best ballads ever. And here's a song, Another Life, Another Time. But the title comes not from you. The title comes from your wife, right?
I think so. Yeah. I believe you're right. Yeah.
In the plane, you told me.
You came up with Another Life, Another Time, right? The title in the airplane. Yep. You're right. Good memory, Richie.
Here is Another Life, Another Time.
But I
She's actually home
Great.
today. So
Great song. And I remember 5 years ago, my very first guest, in the show.
Mm.
And suddenly something, you had this white headphones and something wasn't working. You didn't hear me. And he said, Richie, I can hear you. And Richie can. This was 1 minute before the show or 2 minutes before, because it was live, And I hear your wife always in the back. It's not your problem, Davide. This is his problem. I said, it's not my problem. It's his problem. And I said, oh my God. And I said, now we are live in 1 minute. And I hear, she says, Davide, it's not your problem. It's his problem. I say, it's not my problem. And then suddenly, I hear Richie. This was my headphone. And then, okay, we go live. Whooms.
yeah, she has a way. She's she's Italian and she's gypsy. So
yeah,
let's just put it this way. I wear the pants in the family, but she's got the bigger pair of pants. I mean, she kind of runs the show here. And when she goes, she goes.
I had an Italian girlfriend once in the 80s. Holy cow. This was... Oh,
I love her more than
you don't mess with an Italian woman. I can tell you. That's why they call her Mama. I know now.
Mama. Yeah,
Mamma mia.
You look at her and you go, no, don't talk about anything today.
You know what we do now? Because now this is a premiere. I never played a song of Bonfire with you, because I know there is not the best relationship between you and Bonfire. And yesterday, actually, you told me about a number I didn't hear before. It's the song Remember. So after our little conversation to set up this interview today, I listened to the song and I love it, because it's so different to Bonfire. It's different. It's more catchy melody. It's poppy, a little bit, Fantastic song. I agree. Here's Bonfire, the only Bonfire song today. Here's Bonfire and Remember, featuring David Reece. This was Remember. Great song. Love it.
Thank you.
It's not typical.
That was actually
Bonfire.
that was the Glorious album. I had done Easy Living with Hans.
All right. The next video is also a premiere. I never played it before. I discovered today, and I love this elder stuff, is Forest Through the Trees. Here we go.
I've been asleep for far too long. Slumber
Forest Through the Trees. That's a cool song. Love it.
Yeah, I wrote that with I think the music with Aldi Del Vecchio. I did the solo album Resilient Heart in oh God, I don't know, I think 2017. Was Resilient Heart 2017, Nadia? Yeah. Yeah, because I did the UDO Steel Factory tour. I toured that record opening for Udo that year. And we filmed Forest Through the Trees in Denmark outside, which was crazy because I was standing on a platform in the forest and it was covered with wasps. And every time I moved, wasps would attack me and sting me. And so filming the video for Forest Through the Trees, I was standing on a little stage that was built in the woods. I think kids played on it. And there was a wasp nest under it. These little yellow hornets. And I mean, they were just bombing me, man. So we'd film for a few minutes and then I'd jump off the stage and get stung. And then I'd go back up and do some more. And it was pretty incredible. It's one of those things, you know.
Cool.
You know, sadly, that record company didn't do crap for that album. I mean, that was a great record, a great tour opening for my good friend Udo. I was asked to be the special guest on that tour. We did about 38 shows, and the record company's response was, say hi to so-and-so for me. I asked them to get behind the tour. They did nothing. So my apologies to the fans if you're unable to reach that album, because it's a great record.
Tonight we have to have the chance to revisit this stuff, you know. That is one of the shows with the most videos today, because it's my last interview for Metalheads Forever Rockcast show. So even it's a longer show, doesn't matter. There's no limit. So the next video is also a premiere. I never played it before, anytime at all.
For I'm a wretched
This was Anytime at All. Great song as well. Love it.
I think
But
there's some
I have-
live video of that from the tour with Udo that we edited and made for YouTube. There's a guy that did a bunch of editing. There's the crowds. I mean, with Udo, you're playing big crowds all the time anyways. And one of my favorite tunes. I think I wrote that one with Martin Anderson.
Yeah. And now we come to one more time. We go back to the Baptist by Fire, and this was the first video, and killer song. Of course, it's Enemy Is Me, and here we go. Enemy Is Me. What a killer track.
Yeah. That song was number one in Germany for weeks. I was shocked. I was looking at the power metal charts on that and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then the other one that you talked about earlier, my mind just went blank. We've Lost a Fight jumped in about a week later, 2 weeks later, and was charting as well. But those guys, see, my band, my solo band, are younger than me. They're the 90s era rock guys. So they brought this energy to me that I wasn't really involved with. So was refreshing, and I've got a great rhythm section. I can't, because when I put Bangalore Choir back together, I really said, you know what, all fresh meat, new band. And then I thought to myself, you know how difficult it is, Richie, to have a great drummer and bass player.
Yeah.
If you don't have that in a rock and roll band,
That's the beef, actually.
it's if they're not driving nails in the stage or on tape, you don't have a rhythm section in rock and roll. You don't have a live rock and roll band.
Absolutely.
So I thought, what am I thinking? So I went to Ricardo and Nail. I said, hey, you want to be part of this? And they're like, let's go.
Cool.
So, it would have been a dumb choice had I tried to change the formula and find a new drummer who I didn't know, who I hadn't toured with, a bass player I didn't know. I didn't want to go through that. I said, I must be stupid. What am I thinking? These guys are throwing themselves at my feet, loving touring with me and making music with me. I'm an idiot if I do this. So we stuck it out.
Yeah. Cool. Enemy is Me, absolute cool. The next song, of course, everybody knows now who is George Floyd, I guess. And I Can Breathe is the video, and you tell me a little backstory to this. I guess where this name of the song comes from.
I'm shaking myself.
that's a misconception. The "I can't breathe" motto that took over the world. Really, I had no intention of that. The title I'd already had, and the idea with Andy. That neighborhood where all that terrible stuff happened, is the neighborhood I lived in when I was in Dare Force in Minneapolis, the Midwest. That was my street, Lake Street. That whole neighborhood, I would walk around on my bare feet as a kid. And in those days, it was just like a hippie neighborhood, really relaxed city, no violence. The more north you got in Minneapolis is where all the crime really was. We have the lakes in Minneapolis, very, very relaxed, beautiful. But over the last 20 years or so, it's gotten hostile and it got more dangerous. And my aunt and uncle lived just a few blocks from where all that happened. And they were both in wheelchairs. They've since passed away. And when all that went down, I was freaking out because they can't get out of the house. They both had polio as kids and they were confined to chairs, and they survived it. But no, that wasn't. I tried to stay. I got accused of a bunch of stupid stuff when everybody went woke and politically correct. They thought that I was anti-George Floyd or pro-George Floyd. I have no interest in any of that. I wasn't there. I don't edit film. I don't distrust the police. I don't dislike black people. A lot of my friends are black. I mean, I got native blood. My brother-in-law is Mexican. I could care less. I really don't care. But that was
married to Italian, So
yeah, I don't care.
I agree 1,000%. I'm married here in the Philippines, and come on, there is no racism. What I have a problem is this brutality. If there's really, but both sides, from the blacks and from the police. I hate this stuff. And so
look what happened in Australia the other day.
So I can breathe has nothing to do with George Floyd. So
nothing, absolutely nothing.
Good. Question for the next video: is American still a dream? Because the next video is American Dream.
When I went back to Minnesota last year, 2024, I cruised through that neighborhood we just spoke of. I was in tears. My aunt and uncle's house is a burned down shack now. They're both since passed, and a bunch of squatters live in there that just tore the place to pieces. I have great memory. My daughter was born there. I lived upstairs from them. The whole neighborhood has gone. There was just an energy there that was dark. And my city that I loved is not that city anymore. I'm going back there in February next year in March. And the American dream, I think it's what a soul person makes it. Because in that country, you can do whatever you set your mind to do. That's one great thing about America. But times change. And everything changes. Nothing changes but the changes. That's a new song, actually, that I'm working on. And I still think the American dream is possible, but it's up to the individual. If that dream isn't just, about me or about that guy, if it's for the betterment of everybody, then it's a good thing. Yeah. That's what it was founded on, I think. I mean, I'm no historian genius, but yeah.
But it's a great video and a great song. Yeah. That's why we play
Andy Susamil.
Andy Susamil, yes.
He did the video.
American Dream. Action.
Serenade is fading like castles in the sand. Sunlight is fading over no man's land. Progress masquerading while they're kicking cans. Destiny of sailors' souls still lies in dirty hands. The lady on the island used to know her name. Now she's just a puppet on a string. Alone in my American dream.
yeah, American Dream, so cool. And what is sad actually is that the next project where I thought this would kick ass, it's the album kicked ass anyway, and this was Iron Allies. And I chose one song of this fantastic album. It's Destroyers of the Night. And here we go. I remember 5 years ago we had a lot of discussions when we talk about the album, the cover, and this, and we had long hours discussions, which I always enjoyed because we talk about the old school metal stuff. I know a little bit, and it's always cool to talk to people from the scene, the old fellas. I love this, and
I'm one of those.
Who thought that when going back to the Eat the Heat album, which I didn't like you. I thought you are arrogant, and you said, I heard it so many times. People thought I'm arrogant. Yes, and that is not the case. And I said, yeah, that's not the case.
That was a myth put up by the ACCEPT camp to protect themselves. Now let's clear the table. I didn't hire myself. They hired me. If you listen to Metal Heart and Russian Roulette, where was the direction of the band going? More commercialized.
Yeah.
The record companies put it straight to the brass and management. If you want this to continue, you've got to break America. And you're not going to do it with Udo's voice. Udo is great at Dirk Schneider and UDO. Udo, to me, is one of the greatest on the planet.
Yeah.
But if you're going to cross over to the commercial American market, which they never broke and still haven't, they have their cult following. That's why they hired me. Now, I'm an American. They're Germans. There's cultural differences. There's cultural differences between you and I. I don't have any animosity towards those guys. I'm not going to live my life angry, but there was no middle of David Reece and ACCEPT. You either love me or you absolutely hated me. There's no middle. Now, what I find really ironic about Eat the Heat is I play Hellhammer, Generation Clash, Ecstasy live in every set I do. Every show I play now, and I've literally heard this 100 times, I apologize. People with the original vinyl or CD come to shows wrapped in plastic and ask me to sign it, saying this is a great record. I really have grown to love it. Now, 36 years later, I'll take it. It's a compliment, but
yeah, absolutely.
It's no. There was no middle. I mean, they love me or they hated me. The thing about the European market, I asked Gabby once about Udo, and we went to see him in Dusseldorf. We're all in ACCEPT, so we're going to make a big showing while he's playing and walk into this theater and, show off. That's what we were there to do. And the place was going bonkers. And I'm watching Udo going, what is it about that guy? And Gabby looked at me and said, he's one of them.
Yes, I agree.
And I said, what do you mean? She goes, he comes from a hardworking family in Zolingen. He got out and he made it. And it hit me like a gorilla punching me in the face. I went, that's what it is. And I can tell you he has been nothing but a gentleman to me since 1988. I consider him a friend. I knew his boy when he was born. Nothing but respect.
David,
he helped me with the tour with Udo. I mean, he helped me financially get involved with that tour. So I owe that guy a great thank you. Thank you if you're watching, brother.
Yeah. Now you maybe you're wondering what is my favorite, the last song. Guess. It still is, and I don't know why, what's happened to this song, but I still love this song. And this song will be also in the last show, because you sent me already a nice message. And I love this song to death. And it's still, he looks so great, You know what song?
Generation Clash?
No, not ACCEPT.
Which one?
No. 2 Coins and a Dead Man.
Oh, yeah.
It's still my favorite song. I cannot, even all the songs we heard today, that's still my favorite song. But before I play the video, and this will be at the end of the interview, the last one for Metalheads Forever. Then the next chapter closes tomorrow at the 1000 show. And I'm so thankful to have you on my show for the very first and the very last.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's an honor.
What is in the pipeline for David Reece? Give us a little for 2026. Some touring coming. Some
Headbangers festivals confirmed. Volcanic festivals confirmed. A bunch of French dates are confirmed. I'm going to the United States into February all the way through March, playing all over the place. I got to give a shout out to 97 Underground and KNAC, which started breaking in Long Beach, California. The Bangalore Choir on Target record are back in business now and got us on rotation, and Metal Shop 101. Doc and everybody and Brave Word Records have really pushed this record as far as they possibly could. And like I said earlier, they, when you do the big campaign for a record, they usually quit once it's in the stores or it's online. They have done nothing but continue to push me. We talked about this yesterday. I had no clue about social media. If you're in this business and you think Facebook is the be all and end all of outreach to your audience, you're sadly mistaken. And I was too. Now I'm with Instagram, Bands in Town. You can follow me there. You can go to TikTok and see these videos. I'm always, like you said, a guy made a point to me about Halloween before I go. Halloween never really sold out in America. They did okay in some markets. And he had a real heart-to-heart with the guys in the band. He said, I don't care what podcast you're asked to be on if they've got 10 watchers. You do it in the United States. And guess what? Halloweeners selling out every show in Canada and the United States that they're playing. Whereas 2 years ago, they'd sell 100 tickets. And they were like, wow, we don't want to do that little podcast. Everything matters.
Yes.
Outreach, social media, your show, Richie, any show that asks me to come on, I'm doing it. Because if a band like Halloween can sell out 20,000 seats in Hamburg, they had only 100 tickets in Detroit, Michigan. Now, they've got a list of sold out gigs. It's because they realize, hey, we're not above that. Everything that's out there is what you're doing and what I'm doing to talk to the people directly, because we have that opportunity now. And it's working.
Yes. That's why the madness continues. Start February 16, as mid-February with Metalheads World from Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. morning show, 1 hour, all the news, short interviews, travel interviews, newest albums, videos, and gossip, everything in one show. Action.
Good luck.
And I think I proved it that 1,000 shows, I not give up, and I bring it to the next level. The next level will be more.
A lot of people quit.
Social media, and I tell you, like you said just right, exactly, that is the plan. And we need people like you still kicking ass. And you proved it. You are a road warrior, fantastic singer, still the voice there. David Reece, I salute you, but we need a picture before I let you go. The last picture from Metalheads Forever Rockcast to my friend. Action, okay? I got you, my friend. This was the last interview for Metalheads Forever Rockcast show, friend. And don't forget, get this fucking great album, Rapid Fire Succession on Target Part 2. Yeah. David, I salute you. And here is my favorite song, my goodbye to you. Here is 2 coins and a dead man. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, brother.
Chat.
Diese Show wurde euch präsentiert von Newton Artworks. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thank you for watching. We salute you.